We all know that Mikumo is not only a leader but a very thoughtful person as well. Not only is he one to consider all the possibilities of a situation, but he even goes further than that as shown in this episode. Before round 7 kicked off, we knew that he had this bad feeling, but we couldn't predict exactly what it may have been that he was so worried about. Now at first glance, you would think that it would have been something concerning the match, but with the results, that's clearly not the case, so the question remains of what it could be. Now the situation came down to be a rumor that could potentially jeopardize Hyusee, Tamakoma, but also Border itself, and when you look at just how bad the situation could have gotten, it only makes sense as to why it was such a crucial thing that needed to be handled immediately. See, Ashihara has always ensured that every aspect of a situation would be used to the best of its ability, but this time it was looking at the potential problem that would endanger the entire organization itself. And I really enjoyed to see something like this because it goes to show that Border representatives play an important part in the story as well, and time they have proven themselves to be able to rise to the occasion. Whether it's Kinuta solidifying the base from explosions like we saw in season 1 with the bomber neighbors, or Shinada stepping up to the plate and joining the battle, or even Commander Kido calling the big shots like Chika and the away mission, the things they do affect the story as well. And with this week's episode, we have Netsuki, who specializes in immediate countermeasures, taking the scene. So let's talk about how this all began, and we see Mikumo going back and forth with Kikuchihara about what it could be that was bothering him, and then a quick instant of his side effect, which is the super hearing. He hears about the Sea-Rake agents gossiping that Hyusee could be a neighbor, and it's like, well, they aren't wrong, but they technically do not know they're right either, and as such, a call to immediate action is needed. Remember, the whole invasion back in season 1 was to not only capture Chika as the priority golden baby bird, but Sea-Rake agents were also major targets as well, and a handful of them could have potentially come into contact with any of Afro Couture's invasion squads, so it's not like it wasn't completely improbable. That being said, we need a plan, the plan that essentially fight fire with fire, and through Captain Azuma, what I mean is a counter rumor. Netsuki comes up with this plan of basically saying that Hyusei is related to Tamakoma 2's Cronin, and he was pushed out of the core Tamakoma group into Tamakoma 2 due to Jin's returning of A-rank agent because of the whole Fujin situation, and that's more of a concrete story with technicalities that could easily counteract the baseless rumor from Sea-Rank agents. Through sniper joint training, those in the know would work together to spread the rumor, and everyone in the know would play along until the situation dies down, and we simply hope for the best. I really enjoy seeing something like this because it shows that Ashihara is keeping multiple aspects of the series still alive outside of the constant fighting and world building. Remember back in season 1, upon Mikumo waking up, he basically saved Border by mentioning the away missions, and it's that media and organizational face factor that shows Border is always fighting multiple battles amongst the stars and on their own home turf as well. Without each of the brass members, there will be something lacking, and it shows that these members are no slackers and are probably critical thinkers collectively, just like Mikumo as well, without the naiveness. Border has a lot of promise to live up to in terms of the people. They have to keep society safe and go back and rescue those who have been kidnapped as well, so it's never some casual walk in the park for our executives, regardless if the organization is needed or not. Without a doubt, very important that we put some respect on them, with Netsuki coming in to get things under control. Now, with the main issue in this episode being addressed, let's transition to the conversation between Azuma and Mikumo about Amatori. When I made the video talking about Chika's dilemma, one of the things I keep saying is that Chika is in the camp of people who won't shoot, whereas somebody like Haruhara is in the camp of people that can shoot. She would go as far as training to shoot the person's weapon out so they couldn't defend themselves, and that goes to show just how afraid she was of hurting somebody. Now, Amatori luckily didn't have a full-on meltdown when it comes to scoring against Caldera, but remember earlier in the rank wars on the snow map, she was very hesitant to score, and the reasoning behind it is going to be such a very good episode when we get to it, because not all the time is pulling the trigger easy as it sounds. There are clear repercussions, and it's very impressive how Ashihara has written Chika to be able to fight on regardless of her hesitancy, and for her to be surrounded by empathetic characters as well. Now, what would be a serious conversation if not ending it off with a red flag? With Mikumo leaving the meeting, Azuma takes note of how he cares about other people's issues more than himself, and as such, his priorities are out of balance. And this is probably also why him and Midoriya are my top 2 favorite MCs. They are very much alike, but in this context, it's not necessarily the best thing. I definitely take this moment for some slight foreshadowing in the future. Looking beyond the match, whatever situations might arise, whether they make it abroad on the away mission or something else, could potentially lead to Mikumo making a rather rash decision prioritizing somebody else's sake. I can't imagine the fandom's reaction if Mikumo were to say, save Hyusee from something lethal, or even worse. From there, we pretty much get to see the rumor plan go into action, and by the looks of it, things are going accordingly. Thank goodness they had plenty of people to back them up, otherwise it would have been a lot more complicated to calm down the growing fire. Moving towards the end of the episode, we have our final remaining opponents. The Nomiya Squad, Iguma Squad, and the finally introduced Yuba Squad. In my opening breakdown video, I mentioned that there will be some new faces soon. Who are Yuba Squad? What other trigger sets and specialities or personalities are something you all should look forward to? Captain Yuba himself is no joke, but I think the anime will showcase that just fine. The last bit of the episode is the long-awaited dinner scene that I myself have personally been waiting on. It looks like it won't just be a very casual dinner, as the Nomiya Squad will be joining our crew as well. What will be said or exchanged at this dinner will be anyone's guess, but some slight tension before the upcoming battle is surely in the air. The episode ends on the conclusion of chapter 177 at the beginning of our dinner, and with that, it's gonna bring me to the end of this week's review. Overall, while dialogue heavy, everything in this episode being very interesting, and there is quite a bit you can take from this episode as well. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and to leave all your thoughts and speculations down below. As always, thank you guys for watching, stay safe and warm out there, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.